Bourdieu, Education and Language. Now, capability approach, let me remind you, is an evaluative framework. So evaluative framework would mean it allows you it gives you a matrix across which you can compare different groups of people or different individuals. However, to understand those differences and to explain the causal factors and how things are happening, what are the processes behind them, we need a theory. And this paper uses the theory of Pierre Bourdieu, who is a French philosopher and whose social critical theory has been applied to different fields and has been appreciated worldwide. So, social critical framework of Pierre Bourdieu allows us to use the insights from this comparative analysis and make sense of it in terms of the processes. Now, Bourdieu uses three main terms in his theory to explain the dynamics or the processes. Field for Bourdieu is the social space of relative positions of power, where people actually hold different statuses on the basis of the capitals that they have. And those capitals are economic capital, the social capital, and the cultural capital. The point is, everyone is positioned differently in this hierarchical space, and this is on the basis of the capitals, a combination of capitals that they have. And habitus is the socialized self. So when people are clustered in different positions in this space, which he calls field, then people also learn how to cope with the limitations that they face in their lives. And this develops their socialized self, which he calls habitus, so much so that this habitus then makes certain choices, and you instinctively know whether something is good for you, something is possible for you or not possible for you, what is appropriate, what you should do. So almost without thinking, you know the limitations of your social world. So that is your habitus. And habitus, there's a lot of discussion. Some people say it's deterministic. Some people interpret it as evolving. We over here interpret it as evolving because fields also change. The social structure keeps on changing a little bit because it overlaps with other fields. So if globalization brings in certain changes, things within a nation change. Things within a country, if they change, then things within those locales also change. So if there is a change in locales, there is a change in habitus also, because people somehow readjust themselves to the changing social circumstances. Now, Bourdieu has something very interesting to say about education, and he says schools can actually become a tool of reproducing the given social structure. So although this whole concept of mass education for everybody, equal opportunity that education provides, schools make sure that this opportunity does not remain equal. And it does so by very subtle means. For instance, the capital or the cultural values or the things that are taught in school, the language that is being taught in school is the language of the elite. So the language that is valued, the knowledge systems that are valued are those which children coming from elite families are already well versed in. So when they come in these schools, they immediately get those higher positions, and teachers interpret them as talent. They say they are naturally talented. And the children who are coming from working class and who do not have access to those language systems or to those cultural systems, they are thought of being as dumb, and as if they, a very common saying that the parents of working class use is in Urdu, zehen nahi hai. The child is a no-brainer. The child can't be educated. All those things. So the schools what Bourdieu is saying, make it difficult for the dominated classes to survive. So they will either drop out early or they'll drop out late, but they will go back to the positions they have come from, and there will only be a fraction of them that will be able to survive and move on ahead. So this social critical framework says that it is not us who choose schools, but schools also choose us, and sometimes we self-deselect ourselves from school systems because we are so pressurized by the given system that does not seem to give any value to our knowledge that we bring to them, that is the dominated class. So language is intimately related to symbolic power, that a segment of the population has over others, and it can lead to this subtle exclusion. So that is why he argues that there are two paradoxical strains in higher education. Number one is accessibility. Yes, higher education is accessible to everyone, and we can say that for the schools also, yet that leads to social stratification. So now there is another type of social stratification which somehow masks class stratification, but at the same time it is based on it. So through private and public systems, giving them different type of education, giving them different type of linguistic capital, we somehow bring in a different type of stratification in which we actually blame the victim. So we say, now you have the education and there's something wrong with you. This is what we say to the dominant class, and something wrong with you that you were not able to make it.